Hey guys, it's me Iain Myles here from Kamalifestyles, and I once again just wanted to thank those of you who have signed up to my free upcoming webinar, which is the Approach Accelerator Webinar. Now, for those of you who are not aware, I'm going to be hosting a unique webinar, okay, on Sunday, the 8th of March, where you will really learn how to build and how to develop the confidence and your mindset to a whole new level, okay, when approaching women for the first time. So I'm going to be sharing my unique system with you, okay, completely free of charge, because look, I really want this to make a difference to the world and to guys' lives. But please be warned, because look, spaces on the webinar will undoubtedly be limited. So I'd encourage you to reserve a spot right now, okay, before someone else gets there before you. Now, if you want to save yourself a space, then simply click on that link, okay, click on the webinar registration page link, which is in the video's description right down below, and just add your email address in the box, and that is all done. But look, don't worry, as I'm going to post the link in the comment section too, in case that you overlook the video's description link. I'm really excited about the webinar because I've been thinking, in fact, I've been dreaming about sharing this stuff for a very, very long time. So definitely tune in when the time comes in a few weeks. So at this exact moment, you're probably thinking to yourself, Iain, the webinar sounds all and well, but I'm simply not attractive enough to get that really gorgeous woman I desire. The super hot women that I see, all the time, they go for those tall, good-looking guys, but not me. So what is the point of me attending? Now look, this is the classic way of thinking, where a guy thinks that success with women is all about looks, money, or status, when in reality it's so far from the truth. So let me share a story with you. Now, I sometimes go out with Mr. Kamalifestyles himself, and when we're training guys, we go to the top bars and the top clubs in London. And so when we're out, we sometimes see and we sometimes come across that really tall, model looking guy at the clubs. And you know what I'm talking about. There's always one of them there who just hangs around in the corner, and he's trying to get some attention, and he just stands there with his popular looking mates, and he might be on a table, say at a club, and we just look at this guy, and my first kind of unconscious reaction is like, wow, he must be getting some serious action. But in reality, and simply by being around these guys in the clubs for a long period of time, you realize that the guy's simply not hooking up. Why? Well, believe it or not, but he doesn't have the game whatsoever. And yes, look, it really does matter. I mean, he might give off, a good first impression, a great first impression, in fact. But then after a first, few seconds of any interaction with a girl, the girl just loses interest, as he doesn't know how to establish a decent connection with her, and he just self-sabotages the interaction by doing something stupid or by getting too drunk. And these guys will typically, they'll be the guys who are making out with the girl full on, all night, but they don't end up hooking up with them. The girl just gets bored and the sexual tension just dies out, and they just walk off. And it's really funny because we end up taking the girls home when the clubs finish, and they're just running around the place like headless chickens looking for where the girls went. And when I'm leaving the clubs with the girls, I might peer through the window, and I can see these guys as they're in there, and they're looking really frustrated with themselves, and they just don't know what hit them. I mean, of course, look, this is a bit of a generalization, and I'm sure that there is a tall dude out there who goes out and he kills it all the time. But guys, this is so rare, I'm telling you. I've never seen it myself. So it really isn't the case that, girls will always be looking for the tallest and the best looking guys. It really isn't. And in terms of the guys who I coach and who I train on a regular basis, I get all sorts of guys who are signing up, ranging from the less attractive to the really attractive. It really is a wide spectrum. It's not just the guys who look like they need it. You know, like for example, I remember coaching a professional athlete a few years ago. Now, when he first approached us at Kamalifestyles, I thought that he'd come to the wrong place because, you know, when I looked at him, there was no way that this guy was getting any action. Bear in mind, that was my immediate thought that came to my mind at the time. There was no way that, you know, he wasn't getting any action because he was properly ripped, you know, he was tall, and he looked like it looked like some sort of model. But as soon as I realized that this was simply that tip of the iceberg, it was all surface layer, because, you know, he really did struggle with women, and he really did have a fear and have an anxiety when talking to a woman. And when we did a few sessions together, I realized that, you know, it actually started all the way back when he was a child, a very long time ago. And he basically had an experience around women, a really embarrassing experience, which, you know, he framed in such a negative way, and it created this lack of belief in this area. So when I trained him, mainly by working on his confidence, but also by giving him more guidance and more structure in his general conversations and in his game. But it wasn't until I took him out on one night when everything just clicked for him, it all started to make sense. And I remember it so clearly. He came out with me that night looking so calm and so relaxed, and he was just killing it in his approaches. He got so many numbers, he had a few makeouts, and he even met up with one of the girls later on that night. Now, it was just amazing to see this guy socialize with such an amazing energy and an amazing vibe about him. And I was so happy and I was so pleased, because that's exactly what he wanted. So if you too are an athlete, are a model, even consider yourself to be good looking, this could be for you too. So this is your opportunity to really work on your confidence, because that just might be the one and the only thing that's bothering you. So join me for this webinar. And if you feel like you're too logical and too low energy for getting success with women, perhaps you work in IT or even as a programmer and not in an environment where you socialize with a lot of women, don't you worry, because you can always learn those amazing social skills at my webinar. Or perhaps you work in retail or in fashion and you're already surrounded by a lot of women, but you're simply not getting a piece of that action. Then by all means, let me give you some fresh insights at my upcoming webinar on the 8th of March. So don't wait another minute if you haven't already signed up to the Approach Accelerator webinar, because the places are going super fast. Anyway, thanks again for watching my video today, and do stay tuned at Karma TV. Now, today you were joined by Iain Myles from Kamalifestyles, and I shall see you on the 8th of March.